Welcome back, sports fans. Rob Webster once again coming to you from deep in the heart of Texas. Today we're going to review week 4, and I'm going to give you my insights on week 5. Let's get down to the business. Week 4, we did all right. In quarterbacks, we like Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith. All three did well. Geno Smith did particularly well. I don't know if anyone saw that coming, but Geno's got a good connection with both those receivers. He's playing some good football. He's making those Seahawk fans forget about Russell Wilson for a little bit. So we won on all three of those. Running back, we like Jamal Williams against the Seahawks. He did really well in the absence of DeAndre Swift. I don't know if he'll be a week in, week out thing, but he's good to have on your lineup. So Antonio Gibson, we're going to give ourselves a push there. Didn't do so well. James Conner, another push there. Did all right against Carolina, just nothing spectacular. Amari Cooper was a big failure for the Browns against the Falcons. He only saw 1 point. Not a good day for him. Courtland Sutton, on the other hand, for Denver against Vegas, did really well. So that's a win there. Jamar Chase against Miami. Didn't see a lot of action. Not a great day for Jamar Chase, but we're going to give ourselves a push there. He was still in double digits. Did all right. Pat Freiermuth did well against the Jets. Darren Waller did not do well against Denver, only 3 points. Robert Tonyan, he did okay. We're going to give ourselves a push there. He had 8 points against New England. Who didn't I like? I didn't like Ryan Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence. Neither of them did well. We're going to give ourselves wins there. Didn't like Miles Sanders. He did really well. That's a loss there. Cordarrelle Patterson. We're going to give ourselves a win there. Only had 8 points. Jacoby Myers, scoreless against Green Bay. Give ourselves a win there. Adam Thielen. We're going to give ourselves a push against New Orleans. He didn't do that great. Didn't do terrible either. So if you had him in your lineup, you were just okay. Tyler Higbee, another push. If you were in a points per reception league, he did well. If you weren't in a points per reception league, he didn't do so well. So we're going to give ourselves a push there. Evan Ingram had 1 point. So all in all, that gives us 11 wins, 3 losses, and 6 pushes. Once again, we're at a solid C. So after 4 weeks, we got 2 Ds, 2 Cs. We're hanging in there. We're not ready to drop the class quite yet. Let's take a look at our sleepers. We like Cooper Rush. He did well. We like Breece Hall. He did well. Nico Collins didn't do so well against the LA Chargers. And Alberto didn't even show up. I don't even know if he was playing in that game. But he did not do well against Vegas. So once again, 50% on our sleepers. 2 wins, 2 losses. You can always look at my sleepers and say, that guy's going to pick 2. So just do that every week, and you'll get two good starters. Or maybe you'll pick the 2 that I don't get right, and you'll be like, I hate this guy. Well, enough with living in the past. Let's move on to the future in week 5. Let's start with quarterbacks. Who do I like at quarterback in week 5? First quarterback I like is Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals against the Baltimore Ravens. I see him passing a lot. Raven defense not very good this year. And Joe Burrow is just going to be ready to throw the ball a lot. Good division rival. He knows these guys. He's seen them twice a year. He'll be ready for that game. I also like Ryan Tannehill against the Washington Commanders. This one's, I'm going out a little bit on a limb here, but I think Tannehill's due for a good game. He's not going to get a lot of them out there, but if he's on your bench, you have any questions as to who your quarterback starter should be, throw Tannehill in there. He'll get some good stats against the Commanders. I also like Josh Allen this week. I like Josh Allen pretty much every week, as everybody should. He should probably be in your lineup every week. But this week I particularly like him. I think he's in for a pretty big game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just don't seem to have it together on defense necessarily. So they're not going to get much pass rush. I could see Josh Allen lighten it up this week. Who do I like at running back? I like Nick Chubb for the Cleveland Browns against the LA Chargers. Chubb's been a machine this year. He'll continue that. They're going to feed him plenty. The Chargers haven't been able to stop the run, so Nick Chubb's due for a good game this week. I also like Dalvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings against their division rivals, Chicago Bears. It'll be a good close game, but I see Dalvin Cook kind of taking that game over a bit. Bears have a good pass defense. They're going to blanket Jefferson, put the pressure on Cousins. I think to alleviate a lot of that pressure, you're going to see Cousins pass a lot to Dalvin Cook and hand off a lot to Dalvin Cook. So you're going to see a steady diet of Dalvin Cook for the Chicago Bears. In a similar situation, I also like Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers against the New York Giants this week. That Giant defense has been pretty solid this year. You know, they haven't played any great opponent, but still they're doing the job they need to do. Aaron Jones, you'll just see Aaron Rodgers throw at him a lot. You're not going to see a lot to the receivers, a lot to Tonyan. You're just they're gonna make their game plan Dillon and Jones, but Jones will see more of the action. At wide receiver this week, I like Devontae Adams, Las Vegas Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs. Carr's been connecting with him. You're going to see a lot of passing in that game, so I see Devontae Adams getting a lot of stats out this, seeing a lot of targets, turn them into receptions, hopefully a touchdown, but he's going to get a lot of points this week. I like Mike Evans this week. I think he's getting back to being healthy. Brady looked good last week, threw for a lot of yards. I see them getting back to that. You're going to see a steady dose of Mike Evans in that game just because Godwin still isn't 100% healthy. So Brady's going to be looking for him. He's going to get him the ball. I also like CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys against the LA Rams. Cooper Rush has looked pretty good in that offense. He'll continue to get the ball out. Michael Gallup's back. That's going to alleviate some of the double coverage that CeeDee Lamb might see. They're going to have to play both receivers over the field. So you're going to see Cooper Rush get CeeDee Lamb the ball. They're going to move the ball against this LA Ram defense. The LA Rams have not proven they can stop anyone quite yet. Bit of a Super Bowl hangover there. So I see CeeDee Lamb getting a lot of targets, a lot of receptions, a lot of yards. At tight end, who do I like? Well, nobody other than Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, if you've watched any of my other videos. Those are your only two solid options. But we all got to start tight ends, most leagues. So who do we have besides those two if you don't have either of those two guys? Well, I like Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to turn on at some point. So this week against Tampa Bay, you're just going to see a lot of pass rush. So you're going to see Mariota get him the ball. I like Kyle Pitts this week. I also like Dallas Goedert for the Eagles against the Arizona Cardinals. You know, it's the same situation. The Cardinals just haven't been able to show that they can get it together on defense enough. Their corners aren't bad. They'll kind of shut down the pass game somewhat. You're going to see Jalen Hurts look for Dallas Goedert a lot this week. I also like TJ Hawkinson for the Detroit Lions against New England Patriots. Goff has just been kind of off the charts so far. He'll come back to earth at some point, but he's going to be looking for TJ Hawkinson this week. The New England secondary is pretty solid, but they haven't they haven't been able to show that they can contain the tight end well enough. So I could see TJ Hawkinson getting a score, seeing a lot of targets, turning those into receptions and yards. That leads us, who would I steer clear of this week? Well, the first person I'd steer clear of, a quarterback, is Matthew Stafford for the LA Rams against the Dallas Cowboys. That Dallas defense, that pass rush is pretty solid. Matt Stafford just hasn't looked like his old self. I know he's kind of playing a little hurt. Is coming back from some surgery. He's just doesn't have that second receiver. Just hasn't been Allen Robinson, hasn't been anybody for him. So I think he'll struggle against that Dallas D this week. I would also steer clear of Marcus Mariota, Atlanta Falcons against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mariota has looked okay at times. You know, he's Marcus Mariota. He's a playmaker, just trying to get the ball around. But that Tampa Bay defense is pretty solid. I see them creating some turnovers, pressuring Mariota a lot. He doesn't have the weapons necessarily. He'll get the ball to Pitts a lot, but that's going to be kind of it for him. Drake London, Zacchaeus, they're just not going to get the separation and get from the DBs and the Tampa Bay secondary that they need to get Mariota some stats this week. Who would I steer clear of at running back? Well, my first name is one doesn't normally make this list, Christian McCaffrey. Carolina's had a tough year so far. Matt Rule does not look like he's got command of this team. They're not playing well. Christian McCaffrey is just going to struggle against the 49ers. They have a stout D. They've shown they shut down the run. Baker Mayfield's just struggled. I don't see Christian McCaffrey having a good game this week. Another running back's going to have a tough week, I think, this week is Ezekiel Elliott. Cowboys against the Rams. That Rams defensive line's very good. Aaron Donald. They've been able to shut down the run. They haven't been able to shut down the pass. I just see Cooper Rush throwing the ball a lot. Ezekiel Elliott just being shut down. They might even go to Tony Pollard to provide a spark, to get a little more speed, but we'll see what they do. I just don't see Ezekiel getting a lot of points this week. At wide receiver, who would I steer clear of this week? Well, Christian Kirk, Jacksonville against Houston Texans. This is going to be a good game, I think. These are two kind of evenly matched teams. They've both shown some flashes here and there, but they're both not entirely there, so it'll be a pretty tight game. Houston's defense has been pretty solid against the pass. I just see Zay Jones maybe getting more targets or working James Robinson in there. Christian Kirk just won't. He'll get some points. It's not like he's going to be shut out, but I just don't see him getting a lot more than 10, 11 points. Get just barely maybe getting into double digits. Another receiver I would steer clear of this week is Jerry Jeudy with the Denver Broncos against the Indianapolis Colts. That Thursday night game, that's going to be an ugly game, I think. Just a defensive battle. Taylor's going to be out. It's going to be tough to start anyone in that game. So I would definitely steer clear of Jerry Jeudy this week. He and Russell Wilson don't have a connection. You're going to see a lot of running, a lot of defense in that game Thursday night. At tight end, I'd steer clear of Gerald Everett, LA Chargers against the Cleveland Browns. As I've said it every week for a while, I prefer to steer clear of most tight ends. It's been a tough year for the tight end. You have a handful. I mean, even usually old reliable ones like George Kittle. He just hasn't been himself yet. Now, hopefully, George Kittle gets back to being George Kittle, and we'll have a third name on that list. But beyond the top two, it's a tough go. But I don't like Gerald Everett this week with the Chargers, especially if Keenan Allen is back. He's going to take some of the targets, and that Cleveland defense is pretty stout. I'm also not a huge fan of Dalton Schultz this week. Dallas Cowboys against the LA Rams. I think they'll have him back. A lot more pass protection. They'll pull in these tight end sets that give Cooper Rush a little more time to pass the ball. That defensive front of the LA Rams, very tough to contain. So you want to pull that tight end in for pass blocking, a lot more max protection, give the quarterback time to throw the ball. So I just don't see Dalton Schultz getting the targets, getting the points this week at all. That takes us to my sleepers for the week. So who are my sleepers? My first sleeper, quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, Miami Dolphins. He's playing the New York Jets this week. Teddy Bridgewater's a great quarterback. I think any team's lucky to have him. So he's smart, distributes the ball well, protects the ball, doesn't turn it over, makes good decisions, reads defenses real well. He's had some bad luck with injuries. So he's going to step in there for Tua this week. A lot of weapons on that Dolphins offense. I think any quarterback that gets to play with Tyreek Hill is going to get you some points. So I see Teddy Bridgewater. You need a sleeper this week. You need someone, a quarterback. Pick him up, put him in your lineup. You'll be happy you did. I also like Khalil Herbert, Chicago Bears. They're playing the Minnesota Vikings this week. The Vikings can't stop the run. You might see Montgomery back in. Even if you do, he's not 100%. It's Wednesday when I filmed this. He had not practiced yet. He's been a non-participant. Even if he gets back in there, he's not going to be 100%. You look for Khalil Herbert to get some carries. When he gets the ball too, he does a lot with it. So I think he'll continue to do that. So he's a good sleeper this week. Pick him up, put him in your lineup. I like Gabriel Davis, Buffalo Bills against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bills are going to rack up some points, I think, in this game. The Steelers defense just hasn't shown that they're very good, especially in the clutch or anything. So Gabe Davis will see a steady number of targets. I think he'll do real well this week. Put him in there as a sleeper. Finally, at tight end, I like Hunter Henry, New England Patriots against Detroit Lions. They're going to have to keep up with Detroit somehow. If they have Brian Hoyer in there, he'll sling the ball around a lot. You're going to see him looking for Hunter Henry a lot. Hunter Henry, talented tight end, can do a lot with the ball when he gets it. So good sleeper pick. Not necessarily someone I'm saying he's definitely going to do well, but there's a good chance he could boom this week. So if you need a tight end, you need a flyer, put him in your lineup. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And that's week 5, everybody. So go out, watch the games, enjoy. I appreciate your watching. Once again, you have any questions, concerns, post them in the comments. I will reply. I appreciate everyone who watches. Have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.